Okay, so Thursday today. So this is day 4 of the last week of the series. And we've been working on the more classic Pilates repertoire, building up to the original 34. And then you guys have probably noticed over the last few sessions that there's a lot of hip flexor work that takes place in this series, in the original 34. You know, things like the roll up, the rollover, hip circles, teaser, boomerang, all of those really work into the hips. The side kick series on the elbow and on the hand as well. So we need to make sure that that iliopsoas, the hip flexors, are strong, but also mobile, that they're flexible. They attach into the lumbar spine. So a lot of people, as we do that hip flexor work, take strain in the lower back. So then it's also a matter of finding that balance of activating the gluteals and the lower abs to start supporting as well. So I thought today what we could do is focus a little bit on what's happening around the hip flexors so we can just remind ourselves as we go through those exercises of what to focus on. So when we hit the original 34 tomorrow, we can start referring back to it as well. Okay, so as always, you just need your mat. You just need a little bit of a prop for knees if you need. Otherwise, we're going to come and start in a standing upright position. I'm going to keep my sweater on for the first little bit until we're warmed up, and then I'll take it off a little bit later. Stand towards the back end of your mat. Double check that your feet are in line. Just let your arms relax beside you for a moment. Lift your chin so that you're looking straight forward. And before we do our first roll down, we're just going to start to circle our bodies. So you're shifting over your feet, coming towards your toes and then rolling back to your heels. And just noticing the connections into your center line as you do that. And then change direction and start circling the other way. See if you can keep your body in a nice upright line. So you do have to use gluteals and abdominals. Imagine a circle that you're tracing on the ceiling with your head. And then come to the center and pause. Take a breath in. Exhale as you look down, and we're going to roll all the way forward today. We're not going to pause in the middle, but still pay attention to how does your back feel, how do the back of your legs feel, and when you reach the bottom, just stay there for a moment, relaxing into the back of your neck, give your head a little shake, nod your head a little bit, and then soften your knees, walk down onto hands and knees, keeping your toes tucked under as you come onto all fours. Start moving your hips back, stretching the knuckles of your toes, and come forward. And again, pressing back, stretch your feet and release. One more time, sit back and release. Now push into your hands and feet, lift your knees up, hold it there, finding stability. Move your hips back and up, stay here for a moment, pedal the heels down towards the ground. So you're getting that downward facing dog position. You're getting a little bit of a stretch into the calf muscles. And then press both heels towards the ground. Soften your knees and then walk your hands back to your feet. Bring your fingertips just in front of your toes. Relax. Take a breath in. Roll upright into standing, rooting into your feet, coming all the way upright. Take a moment to lift your gaze, roll your shoulders back and around a few times, and let your arms settle. Take another breath in. Exhale, look towards your feet. Start peeling through your spine. And again, just observing how it's feeling. Coming all the way down, fingertips light to the ground. Relax your neck. Bend your knees and once again, walk yourself down onto all fours. But this time, relax your feet all the way back behind you. Ready for a cat stretch. Rounding your spine, tucking your tail, lifting your belly, lifting your lower ribs. Push away from your hands. And then start lengthening your spine. Lifting up through your tail, your sternum, and your eye line. And again, rounding your spine. So this is the first little bit of extension that we've done today. So just start to notice how your back is feeling with this movement. Maybe you need to keep it a little bit smaller to start off with. We're going to take 2 more rounds. Tucking your chin. Lengthen, lift your tail, your chest, your gaze. One more time, rounding through your spine. And this time, come back to a neutral position and hold. Tuck your toes. Press into your hands, lifting your knees up. Pause for a moment. Send your hips up and back. And once again, pedal through the heels. Loosening up through the back of your legs. Send both heels down. Maybe your legs are straight, maybe not, doesn't matter. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Coming onto the tips of your fingers and just allow yourself to relax over and start to notice that probably things are feeling a little looser already. Roll back up into standing. Pressing into your feet, coming all the way up. Lift your gaze, focus, roll shoulders back and around. Let your arms settle. Third and final roll down. Look towards your feet, feeling that release at each segment of your spine. Coming all the way over. Soften here for a moment. And then walking hands all the way forward. Coming down onto hands and knees. Balance yourself here for a moment. Reaching your right arm to the side. Thread the needle all the way through. So now this is our first rotation of today's class. And what I'd like you to try today, if your neck is feeling okay, is to take your left hand, hold on to your right hand, and almost give yourself a little bit of a pull. And can you feel that it deepens the rotation through the thoracic spine? If that doesn't feel good for you, then you can release. You can put your hand back where it was. Stay for just a few more breaths. And then let go. Place your left hand down. Up you come, reaching right arm out to the side and placing that hand down. Left arm reaches. Thread the needle all the way through. Settle into it. And then maybe try on the side as well. Right hand holds the left hand. Give yourself a little bit of an extra pull and a stretch. A little bit of opening underneath that left shoulder blade. Stay with your breath. And then release. Right hand to the mat. Up you come. Reaching left arm out to the side. And then bringing that hand all the way down. Tuck your toes. Hover your knees. Move your hips back and up. And once again, pedal the heels down. So you're coming into that little bit of downward dog. And then press both heels to the floor. Stay here for a moment. Now just pick up your right leg, not too high, and just hold it in the air. So you're still pushing out through the heel of that foot. And now point your toe and see if you can step your foot in between your two hands. If you need to help yourself, then help yourself. And then lower that back knee down. Give yourself padding if you need. Release your foot. And then walk your hands up onto that top knee. So this is our first deliberate opening of the hip here. Start to bring your body weight a little bit forwards and a little bit backwards. And then notice when you come forward that you might reach a point where your pelvis collapses and it just moves into the lower back. That's too far. And then notice when you push back that it might travel down the quadricep here. So you guys might not know, but we have two hip flexor muscles. One of them is called the iliopsoas, which is purely at the hip joint. But the other one is called the rectus femoris, and it's actually part of our quadriceps muscle, which is why when you push backwards, you might feel that extra stretch down the front of the thigh. Now bring your pelvis forward, so we're just focusing on that iliopsoas and stay here. Releasing your left hand, we breathe in. You guys know this one, I love this one. And we exhale, release. Double check your core is connected because that supports your lower back. But the other thing is your front foot needs to really root. You need to use that front leg to help you stay here. So it's no strain in your back. And release. One more time, let's lift the arm up. And this time stay here and keep that little bit of tensioning on that hip flexor. Do a sideways lean. So now you might be feeling it a bit more in the hip, but a little to the side. It's called the TFL, the tensor fascia lata. And we do tiny pulses. Two more. One more. And release. Bringing your hand all the way down. Putting your right hand to the floor as well. Tuck the back toes. Lift your knee up. And then see if you can step your right leg back. Move yourself again into your downward facing dog so you can walk on the spot. And then send both heels down. Pause here for a moment. And then just notice, how does that left side feel in comparison to the right side? Now pick up your left leg, not too high. Hold it here. Find your balance. Point your toe. And then see if you can step your foot all the way through. Move your foot with your hand if you need. Lower your back knee. Get it comfortable. Relax, because we're going to be here for a while, remember? And then walk your hands up. And if you focus your eye line, it will help you with your balance immensely, along with your abdominals. And now, start to move backwards and forwards. Explore the movement. Notice how the connections shift down the quadricep or more up towards that iliopsoas. And oftentimes, if the hip flexor is tight, our body is very smart and it will start to compensate. You might feel like you're doing a little bit of a twist. So see if you can keep your headlights facing forward as much as possible. Come forward so that you're isolating the hip flexor up at the top. Left hand stays, right hand comes down. And now we inhale, reach up. And exhale, lower. And again, inhale, reach. And lower. Keep rooting into your front foot. Focus your eye line as well. And lower. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Stay here. Lean over to the side. So we're adding in a little bit of TFL. And we pulse. One more. Come back up, hold it. Reach forward. Put your hands down. Tuck your back toes, lifting up through that knee, and then step back. Lift your hips up. Once again, pedal through the feet. Coming towards that downward facing dog. And then send both heels down. Stay for a moment. Take a little breath. Lower your knees to the floor. Open your knees, big toes touch. Sit back and take a moment just to come into a resting position. Wiggle out your fingers and your hands. And then let your upper body settle. Take a moment to breathe here. And on your next breath, draw yourself up onto all fours once again. Spread your fingers out. We're going to be weight bearing on one side. So tuck your toes. Lifting your knees just up. Move your right hand under your face. Pivot so that your knees and your hips face towards the left. Can you pick up your left arm and find your side balance and then lower your right knee to the floor. Bend the top elbow and salute and stretch your left leg out. Pointing the toe, start to move your leg a little bit behind you but without arching the back. Flex your foot forward for 2. And back, back. So we did this yesterday, and we did it on our forearm. This is now the side kick kneeling. This is also part of the original 34. Can you feel that hip flexor opening, and then shortening to the front? Last 2. Last one. Stay back, reaching your hand up, bending your knees, so you're going to put your foot flat down, pivot down onto your hands and knees, and come back onto all fours. Round your spine into a cat. Move your hips halfway back. Push up onto the tips of your fingers, and we pulse. So this might not feel like it, but because you are flexing the lumbar spine, we're getting a little bit of a release into the hip flexors because this is where the psoas connects. It inserts onto the lumbar spine here. One more. And release. Place your hands flat. Tuck your toes under. Now I'm going to have my back to you on this one. Hover your knees. Move your left hand under your face. Pivot knees, hips facing towards the right so you can pick up your right hand and balance. Stay here. Lower your left knee to the floor. Release it out. Bend the top elbow, salute. Take your top leg and stretch it out long. Core connection. Squeeze your bum cheeks to move your leg back. And now you're going to flex forward. And point back. Keep stability through your midsection. See if you can keep your leg at the same height so you're not dropping and swinging forward. Yeah, keep it level. 2 more. One more. Hold it. Placing your foot down. Turning onto all fours. Rounding your spine, cat stretch. Sitting your hips back. Holding it here. Push up onto the tips of your fingers and gentle pulses. One more. Place your hands flat. Release forward and lengthen your spine all the way out. Taking your right leg extended back. Walking your left fingertips forward, hold. Lift your arm and leg up, find balance. Round your spine, draw elbow to knee. Lengthen your spine, reach away. Round, elbow to knee. Lengthen away. So as you bend at the hip, that's hip flexor. And as you curve your spine, that's abdominals. We want to apply this connection to all the hip flexor work that we're going to be doing today. One more time. Abs support. Stretch back, hold it, and bringing hand and knee all the way in. Say to yourself, left leg. Walk the right fingertips forward. Lift arm and leg, stay, and here we go. Round. Elbow touches knee, and extend. And again. And extend. Focus hip flexors, and notice how the abdominals can support. Last one. Reach back, hold. Bringing hand and knee all the way in. Round your spine. Push up onto the tips of your fingers as you move your hips back slightly. Roll upright. Lifting up tall. We're going to take one deep inhale. Reach up. And exhale. Open your arms wide. Coming into a mermaid seat. So I'm going to turn to face you, bringing your right shin towards the front. I think I'm getting warm enough now. So get yourself in a comfortable position here. Let's do a little bit of side-to-side movement. So just warming up through that lateral line. So again, and I've mentioned it before, when we're sitting in this position, it's quite lovely because we're getting mobility through the hip joints, internal rotation and external rotation. So that's why I always think it's so interesting to notice the two different sides of the body. One more time. Lean over, hold it here. Do a little bit of a rotation to place your hands down. Now, if you go all the way to the side, it's going to be very challenging. So you might want to think about coming just a little bit sort of on a diagonal with your knee. Core connected, bend your elbows to lean forward. And on your breath, see if you can pick up your back leg and release it down. And again, picking up your back leg, can you feel gluteals working and release? Exhale, core connection. Last two. And release. Last one. And release. Bring yourself upright. Help yourself step your left foot all the way over. If that is too tight on your hips, then please just put your foot like this. If you can, step across, go for it. And then see if you can get that left bum onto the floor. So holding it upright, you can stay here. You can rest your head down. If that's enough of a stretch, then you sit here and breathe. If you want to take it a bit deeper, then place your left hand behind you. Right hand reaches. I'll do mirror image for you, remember? And you're going to do a little bit of a rotation so that your elbow connects to your knee, and you see if you can look over that left shoulder. So again, we are creating mobility around the hips. This is indirectly related to our hip flexors. Taking a few more moments to breathe. And then release from wherever you are. Unfold your leg, placing your left leg in front and moving your right leg to the back. So again, coming into that mermaid seat and a little bit of side to side movement. So now you've got the opposite hip internally rotated and the other one externally rotated. Last one. Over towards the side, so your left hand is on the floor, do a little bit of a twist, and then I'm going on a little bit of a diagonal here, so I'm more in line with that front knee. Core connection, bend your elbows, breathe out as you pick up the back leg, and release. And again. And release. 4 more. Activating gluteals. Last 2. Last 1. Really nice job, guys. And release. Come upright. Help yourself. Bring that foot all the way across. You can either step just to the front or you can step over, but then you want to be able to get that right bum down. Settle yourself. You can stay, or hand behind your back, reach up and into a gentle rotation. So the other thing is with activating the bum cheeks, the gluteals, they are the opposing muscle, the antagonist to the hip flexors. So if we can keep the gluteals strong and supple, it means that they're going to find balance with the hip flexors, that we're not going to be loading one group more than the other as we work. Take a nice easy breath. And then exhale, slowly release, uncross that leg, and now pivot yourself so that you are sitting lengthways. Hold it here for a second. Take a little breath, reaching through the fingertips. Roll down onto your backs in one movement. Hands settle down and releasing back. Walk your feet a little bit closer in towards you so we can go into a pelvic curl. Take a breath. Exhale, tilt pelvis. Rolling up into that bridge position. So this is a lovely example of that dynamic. The hips are opening, which means the gluteals have an opportunity to engage. There's no tug of war, there's a release. Take a breath, and then roll down through the spine and settle at the bottom. Let's just do 3 more of those. Exhale, tilt pelvis. Roll up, hold, take a little breath in, and then exhale and release. 2 more, using this opportunity to find placement, find balance, soften into the back of the neck, and roll down. 1 more time. Exhale. Holding it here, take a little breath in, and release down. Imprint and settle at the bottom. So stretch your legs out long. I need to move a little bit back on my mat. We're going to go into our roll up here. So squeeze your inner thighs, reaching your hands up and then backwards to find your starting position. And here we go. Inhale to lift your arms, then your head. Exhale as we start activating abdominals, and then you're going to reach a point where your hip flexors have to work and you stretch over. Stop with your nose just above your lap. Take a little breath in, and then exhale, down you go. Squeeze inner thighs, reach your arms back. Now for the next one, flex your ankles. Inhale, lift your arms, lift your head, breathe. Stop with your nose just above your pubic bone. This is your rollover position if we flipped you on your back. And then roll down. Energy through fingertips, energy through heels. Reach back, point your toes. Inhale, lift arms, head, breathe. Hold your position. Inhale, exhale down. Flex your ankles. This is the last one. Inhale, lift arms, head, breathing it out. Stay here. Exhale, roll yourself down. Reach back. Draw a big circle with your arms all the way to the side, and then place your hands down a little bit wider than your mat. Bend your right knee to tabletop. Hold it here. Open your chest. Inhale to extend your leg as straight as you can manage. And exhale to bend your knee and release. Okay, so now this is hip flexor and quadricep. Inhale. Can you feel how much it loads into the abdominals? And it's because your abs, your deep ab, the TA, has to support the lumbar spine because it's tugging on the lower back. Inhale, release. Now one more time, extend your leg up and hold it there as straight as you can manage. Take a breath in. Exhale to do a big sweeping circle around and stop at the top. And again. Hold. Obliques connecting. There is a natural rotation of the lumbar spine. Don't brace. Hold it. Change direction for 5. Hip flexors are working, guys. Use your arms. Keep your upper body soft, not floppy, soft. One more. Hold it. Point your toes, bend your knee, stretch your leg out. Now reach both arms up overhead. Good morning stretch. Do a little croissant to the left, so you're stretching the right side of your body. Come back to the center. Release your hands, draw a big circle around, and stop with your hands just outside your mat. Flex ankles. Pick up your left knee. Hold. Here we go. Extend. And bend. And again. So working into the hip flexors. Notice how this is registering on your body. How's it feeling? If your hamstrings are tight, it means you're going to have a little bit of tug of war here. So it's going to maybe work even harder into the lower back, yeah? So hamstring length is nice to have. Exhale, extend, hold it this time as straight as you can manage, okay? Take a breath in, it's a big circle across your body. Anchor with your bottom leg, anchor with your arms. Obliques working, one more. Change direction, leg circles the other way. Last one. Hold it. Point your toes, bend your knee, stretch that leg out. Circle your arms up and over. Hold onto your wrist, and this time pull over to the opposite side, the right side. So you're getting that length down the left side of the body. Come back to the center. Sweep your arms around and place your hands beside you. Bend your knees again. Placing your feet down, we're going to do another pelvic curl. Take a breath. Exhale, tilt your pelvis. Rolling up into your bridge position, and you hold. Stay here. Place your hands lightly to gluteals. Stand on your right leg. Bring the left knee up and stay. Just let your hips come down halfway. And press up. Halfway. Press up. So once again, we're using this opportunity to open the hip flexors that have just been working and to engage the gluteals, which are the opposing muscle, the antagonist. One more. Press up, hold, and placing that foot down. Keep your pelvis level. Stand on your left leg. Bring the right knee up. And we go. Halfway down. Press up. And I'm getting you to keep your hands on your gluteals because it's such a good tactile cue to give yourself. One more. And hold. Place your foot down. Reach your hands forward. Roll through your spine, feeling that lovely imprint into the lower back, and release. Bring one knee up to tabletop. Bring the other knee up to join. Remember your ab connection. Glue your legs together. We're going to practice our roll over again today. So stretch your legs halfway up, just halfway. Anchor your arms, squeeze your legs. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll over and catch your pelvis with your hands. Relaxing into your neck. Take a little breath in. Exhale, roll down. Let your head come off the ground. Let your pelvis touch. Lower down. And then hands come down. That's your first choice. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll over. Catch. And stop. Now, can you put your hands onto the floor again and roll down, lifting your head off the ground, and then lower your head. That's your second choice. We're going to add on. Exhale, push with your hands, roll over, catch. Flex your ankles, release your hands. Roll down, your head is lifting, and the head lift keeps the tension on the abdominals. Point your toes and lower your head. That's your third choice. Take a breath. Exhale, roll over. Catch. Flex. Release your arms. Can you roll down without lifting your head? It's a lot more work. Can you feel that? Because you're not lifting your head, you're not shortening the abdominals. Point your toe. That is your fourth choice. Now, can you roll over and not catch your hips? Okay, take a breath. Exhale, roll over. Put your hands on your hips if you need. Flex your ankles. Exhale. Can you roll down without lifting your head? When you reach the bottom, point your toes. That's your fifth choice. And now there's one more choice where you see if you can straighten your knees or not. Don't hurt yourself. Squeeze your legs. Take a breath. Exhale, over you go. Flex. Roll down. Point at the bottom. Hug your knees in, one hand on each knee, and let's just draw little circles. Stir the clouds. Nice, easy release into the lower back. That was a lot of hip flexor work again, guys. And the other way. Plus, when you're upside down, you have to use your abdominals to support that lumbar spine. And release. Hook your hands behind your thighs. We're going to start rolling like a ball. So tuck your chin in, curling yourself forward. Start by kicking with your feet. Get the momentum going. And then you can decide if you want to move your hands to the front and no more kicking. Inhale back, exhale forward. 2 more. 1 more. Up you come, hold it, balance, and placing your feet down. Good. Turn onto your stomachs. We're going to go into our swimming. So from here, legs are going to be slightly separated. We were practicing this yesterday. And you're going to take your arms out overhead. I'm going to turn on a little bit of a diagonal here so I've got space and you can see. And take your arms a little bit wider than shoulder distance, hovering the tip of your nose. From lifting up into a little baby cobra. Now squeeze your gluteals and hover your legs. Hover your arms just off the ground. That's your start. Opposite arm to opposite leg. And switch. Switch. Breathing. Finding coordination. So this again is a wonderful exercise because it opens the hip again. So we're giving the hip flexors a little bit of a reprieve. And if you're feeling really good here, why don't you pick up the pace? Two more sets. One more set. Hold it. And releasing all the way down. So from here, tuck your hands under your shoulders. Press up onto hands and knees. Bringing your knees underneath your hips. Hands underneath your shoulders. Just round your spine into one cat stretch. Move your hips halfway back. Push up onto the tips of your fingers. Slide your hands towards your knees. Come all the way upright. And then just take a moment to roll your shoulders back and around. And we're going to stay on our knees. Now, what we've been doing in the last classes is practicing our 100 on our knees, okay? Today, we're going to do what is called the double leg kick, but we're practicing the arm position. So I want you to take your hands and you can either interlace your fingers and flip your palms back. If that feels too hectic for you, then you can actually just clasp your hands and bring them a little bit lower. Okay, so that's the position we're aiming for. And you can feel that there's quite a strong internal rotation around the shoulder here. Turn your head towards your right, looking over that right shoulder. Take a breath in. Exhale to bring your head to the center and stretch your hands down. So you're trying to straighten your elbows. If you need to let go of your hands, then let go of your hands. And then reclasp your hands and turn your head to the left. Taking a breath in. Exhale, center your eye line, stretch your hands. Look to the right, breathe in. Exhale, center your head, stretch. Inhale, look to the left, bend your elbows. Exhale, center yourself, stretch, and maybe you can lift your chest a little bit. So it's a little bit of an extension of the thoracic spine. Release, look to the right, breathing in. Exhale, center, lift your chest. Release, look to the right, breathing in. Sorry, look to the left. Exhale, center, look up. Reach down through the hands. Open up across the front arm. Release, look to the right for the last one. Exhale. Bring your eye line to the center, unclasp your hands. So we're going to be incorporating that tomorrow. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, round forward. Walk yourself all the way down and onto all fours. Now I'm just going to turn around so I've got my head at the other side. And we're going to go into our front support basic and then a little progression today. Spread your fingers out. One leg reaches back. Stabilize. Other leg extends back. And you hold. Balance on your right leg and hover the left toes. We stay here for 3, 2, 1. Place the left toes down. Balance. See if you can pick up your right toes and just hover them for 3. Pelvis is level. 2. Energy through your crown. 1. Place your toes down. Bend your knees and take a little hop forward on your mat. Into a little crouch. Bring your hands behind you. Now you can either just walk your feet forward or maybe you can lift up and release. Nicely done. Stretch your legs out. And now we just did the front support basic. Now we're going to do the back support basic. So place your hands a little bit behind you. Now guys, in the classic work, the fingers are pointing this way. It doesn't feel good on my wrist, so I put my fingers out. But if you want to turn your hands that way, then by all means go for it. Push out of your arms. Take a breath in. Exhale. Just see if you can hover your pelvis. If that feels okay, then maybe press up just a little bit. Can you balance on your right leg and hover the left? 3, 2, 1. Place it down. It's a lot of work in the hamstring, right? Balance on the left leg, lift the right. 3, 2, 1. Place it down. Lower your hips all the way down. And then flex your ankles. Do just a little bit of a stretch forward. Take a breath in. And then exhale, unravel, and lifting up nice and tall. Pull the flesh of your bum out your back. And we're going to go into our seated spine twist. So pull the toes up, squeeze the inner thighs, hands out with the palms up. Open your arms wide and holding it here. Take a breath to grow tall. Exhale, double twist towards the right. Inhale, center to the left. Inhale, center. So remember as you work that it's not about swinging the arms across. It's about rotating through the spine. So it's a lot of work through the obliques, but your back muscles are also responsible for rotating the spine. So you probably will feel your back in conjunction with your abs. 2 more. Inhale, center. 1 more time. center, hold it, and release. Just bend your knees into that mermaid seat again. Lean back and do a little bit of a squeeze with that hip. Doesn't matter which leg you're doing, because we're going to do them both. So you're just opening up that hip slightly, and then release. Swing your legs over to the other side. And then again, it's that little squeeze with your bum to open up that hip. Because guys, we are about to go into our teaser, which I think is like the biggest one for hip flexor work. And then release both your legs back to the front. Come towards the front edge of your mat. Now, hook your hands behind your legs. Lean back a little bit. And then just pick up one leg. Pick up the other leg to join. And now glue your knees and your feet together. Now use your arms to lengthen up your spine as much as possible. So, abs have to work to support your back. Abs have to work to support your hip flexors. So when you let go of your legs right now, you can feel the hip flexors, but it's not straining your lumbar spine. On your next breath, see if you can roll yourself down. We're not going to go all the way. We're just going to go down until our bra strap touches. And then exhale, roll up again, and lift up tall. Use your hands to help yourself if you need. And again, curl back. Just to there. And then exhale. Lift up tall. One more time, curl back. And this time, bend your knees in and relaxing all the way down. Do a little bit of a rocking action from side to side. And then center yourself there. Placing your feet down. Separate your knees and feet to hip distance apart. Arms beside you. We're going to do one more pelvic curl. Take a breath in. Exhale, tilt your pelvis. Rolling up. So again, use this opportunity to open those hip flexors that have been working like crazy. Holding it here, place your hands on the sides of your hips. Start standing on the right foot. Bring the left knee up. Extend that leg long. Now start to lower your leg. Yesterday we stopped with the leg in line, but if it's available to you, bring the foot a little lower to open that hip, and then flex your foot and bring it up. 3 more. Lower and lift. 2 more. Lower and lift. 1 more. Feel the abs. Abs, 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 abs. Lift up. Hold it. Point your toe. Bend your knee and stand on that foot. Balance yourself out. Hands are beside your pelvis. Hold on to the gluteals. Picking up the right leg. Extend your leg as straight as you can. Decide how low you can bring your foot and then flex. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Point your toe, bend your knee, place your foot down, hold it, send both hands up, roll down through your spine, and release it there. Bring one knee to tabletop, bring your other knee to join, interlock your fingers, hands behind your head. We're going into the crisscross here. On your breath out, curl head and shoulders forward so that loading of the abs actually helps. Stretch your left leg away and rotate to the right. We switch. We switch. So when your knee comes towards you, the hip flexor is working. You've got to flatten the abdominal wall here. And when you stretch your leg away, the hip flexor is still working, but it's working eccentrically. And we've got 2 more, 1 more. Come back to the center, hands to knees, hug yourself in and relaxing all the way down. Turn your head from side to side. Bring your head back to the center, and we're going to do rolling like a ball once again. Hands behind thighs, round your spine, using your legs to help yourself. Do that little kicking movement. And then bring yourself all the way up and hold it right here. Open your knees, hands go in, around, and hold your feet. So you should actually feel like your hips are quite floppy and easy. You're using your arms to help yourself. Round your spine. Let's just practice a few rolling. Roll back, roll up, and again. Good. Now let's add a hip release at the front and a hip release at the back. So this is also, even though we've got the hips bent, we've got the hips flexed, it should actually feel quite soft around the hip flexors. Curving the spine to get that lovely release. 1 more. Hold it and placing your feet down. Turning onto your stomach, we're going to go into another back extension to open up the hips. Take your legs apart, quite wide apart, and we're going to go into the swan dive. So place your hands a little bit wider than your mat and a little bit more forward than you normally would. And on your breath, engage your gluteals. Come up into a cobra first of all. Feel out your back, see how it registers. Push into your hands as you start lifting up. Now maybe you can straighten the elbows, maybe not. See how it feels. And then on your breath, do a single dive and catch. And again. And catch. 2 more. 1 more. Hold it. Bend your elbows. Lower all the way down. Place your hands under shoulders. Press up and coming into a resting position. Taking a moment just to settle here. Use this as a little bit of a check-in point. See how your body is feeling. And on your next breath, walking your hands back towards your knees. Just coming into a comfortable seated position. I'm going to use my block as a little bit of support. And taking a few moments to include some mindfulness for ourselves. So after that awareness of our hip flexors, you might need to find a different seated position as long as it feels easy around your pelvis. Do any little movements of your spine, neck, and shoulders that you need. And what I'd like to try with you today, so you have an experience of it, is turning the palms of your hands to face upwards. So this is a receiving space, a receiving position, whereas palms down is more grounding. Find a little bit of length along the back of your neck. Allow your eyes to close. And start to settle yourself. And oftentimes, as we close eyes and slow down, we might feel some niggles through our body, some little adjustments that we need to make. Hopefully, after the class, the moving, the breathing, the stretching, that your body feels released and ready to sit. Can you control your breathing to allow your exhale to extend slightly? If you find your mind wandering, just gently call yourself back, bring your awareness to each inhale and each exhale. Taking the next few moments to remember your intention, your dedication that you have brought with you over the last 4 weeks. Just slowly blinking your eyes open, letting the daylight peek back in. Just wiggling your fingers and your toes, taking your hands and just doing one big sweeping inhale up. Big exhale, opening arms wide. Roll your shoulders back. Fantastic. Let me check in.